Hello comrades and welcome back to my Let's Play of Pillars of Eternity. And last time, when I left off, we were just about to hit Gilded Vale, a city that gives out land to new colonists. Let's say, yeah, colonists. So, let's get there, maybe we can grab some land. This is new for me. I stopped playing here before I started recording for YouTube. So, let's go. Yeah, 8 hours to the Gilded Vale. Interesting. Some few tips. Well, that doesn't look good for a town where I want to settle. Or the ruins. I hope my game didn't crash. There we go. I'm super tired. Okay, let's check the map. Okay. Looks grey. Aufra's house. Don't know if that should tell me something. Ingrud's house. Definitely not. Idea windmill. Blackhound Inn. Blackhammer Smithery. So here's an inn where I can sleep. It seems I can just check. Going down this path. There's nowhere else I can go. So. Oh, okay. Why is he yellow? Let's check that out. Oh, cutscene. Oh, that's nice. I love to live here. Dude.
You must be one of the new settlers. Welcome to Gilded Vale. You'll be pleased to know that we've had some recent vacancies here.
Ah, go figure. I'm passionate, so are you mad? No wonder this place looks half empty. The only answer you hear is the buzzing of flies from the tree.
Of course, we'll need to make some inquiries first. The inestimable Lord Radric VII has taken great pains to insulate our town from Widewind's legacy. Have you ever sired a Hollowborn child?
No clue what that is, but that's a rather personal question.
And an important one nevertheless. Lord Radric has made it his first priority to eliminate this scourge from our village. I should warn you, stranger. Here in Gilded Vale, we have a special place for dissidents, charlatans, and those who would hide a curse in our midst.
He steps to the side and inclines his head ever so slightly toward the deformed tree.
His lordship's wife is with child and due any day now. Without his approval, I shan't be able to find you a permanent settlement. It will have to wait until after the birth. We can continue our interview then, after the bell tolls from Radric's hold to signal my lord's new heir. In the meantime, you can find temporary accommodations at the inn just southwest of here.
So, I won't get my plot of land, as promised. Great. You said something about Hollowborn and Widewind's legacy before. He blinks. I forget that you foreigners do not have this curse in your homelands. The Hollowborn have been a scourge upon Deerwood for almost 15 years now. He lowers his voice to a whisper. Children born without souls. He shakes his head. Pitiful dumb things that breathe, barely, but do not truly live. Some say the Hollowborn are a disease, some say they are a punishment from the gods. He raises his empty hands. In truth, no one knows. But they began spreading after the Saints' War, and so the name Widewind's legacy stuck in honor of that foul, blasphemous pretender. His voice shakes with vitriol. I see. Lord Radric decrees may seem strict at times, but he has our best interests at heart. He nods. If you have any other question, don't hesitate to ask. It's important that everyone in Gilded Vale understand our rules. I don't know if I want to press 1 here. Or 3. but I have to. Yeah, I hear these voices, right? I've been feeling strange ever since a close call with a beerwick. Is there someone in town who could help?
Whatever your problem, it sounds like a matter for an animancer. However, the only animancer in Gilded Vale isn't in any condition to speak. Consider yourself fortunate. After she failed Lord Radric, we saw to it that she wouldn't profit from the misplaced trust of others. A bad cure is often worse than none at all.
Okay.
But if you're set on finding a bottle of troll piss or a dead Audra pebble to rub on your forehead, you're welcome to check her pockets. A little corpse stink is nothing when you're digging for shit. My advice, however, is to be satisfied that you escaped and leave it at that.
Cool. I'm pretty sure that this... I don't know. Well, let's go for it. Before I got here, I saw several people conducting a strange ceremony near some ruins. He regards you carefully. You'll want to mind where you mention that. Trespassing on Engwithan ruins is illegal, not to mention dangerous. You probably saw someone attempting some new ritual to appease the gods. People will try anything these days. Bareth have mercy, we certainly have. Maybe so. Like I said, it's best to stay away from those sorts of places. Goodbye.
Keep out of...
Okay.
Listen!
2 tolls. Let that be the last.
3. Gods have mercy.
It seems your arrival is ill-timed. 3 bells toll only for the death of a Radric. I fear Lord Radric's heir is lost, or else Hollowborn, and so lost all the same. You should tread carefully. Circumstances have changed a great deal.
What do you mean? You come to us at a time of mourning. The legacy is struck at the heart of Gilded Vale. Our efforts to redeem ourselves in the eyes of Bareth must be redoubled. He sets a steady gaze on you. What happened? He shrugs on bony shoulder. I will know more details when the messengers arrive. The vagaries of childbirth, perhaps. But that is not your concern. So, does this affect the Lord's offer to new settlers? I can be sure of nothing right now. I advise you to get some rest. The inn was stable for all I care. Find me afterwards. I will know more soon enough. Okay, farewell. Oh, no. Stay here. Okay. So, seek help for your condition. This is not the illness that struck me at the wagon. There's something new. The maester advised me to get some rest. That might be a good idea to get away with these major fatigue things. Let's first go here because here's a name. Idea.
Were you looking for someone in that tree? I could introduce you.
Looking for anyone who can help me feel better. He gives an understanding nod as he takes a long drag from his pipe. My condolences. He exhales and turns his attention away, watching the village around him. Okay. He doesn't want to talk to me. Temple of Earthus. Okay. That thing is burned down. So let's go to the inn. Oh, okay. Eloth. Seems like an elf. You see 4 people gathered by the door to the inn. Their raised voices and chopping gestures suggest an argument reaching its climax. The first figure raises his hands for calm. His face is partially obscured by a hood, but his height and stature suggests an elf. Knew it.
I meant no offense. let's put this matter to rest over a round, shall we? My treat.
Hoping to soothe our pride with a few Adira coppers, eh? We don't need your coin.
Okay, I can say nothing. Try to calm them down. Or just ask what's going on. One of the other men points at the hooded elf. His eyes are red from drink, but his gaze is focused. Mocking us even while he shelters in our village. Just goes to show you what these fancy Adir manners are worth. Aha. We don't take to that kind of treatment. Not from foreigners and especially not from Adirans. If I remember correctly, this is Deerwood, and they fought against the Adirans.
Go on. Say it again. I'm itching for an excuse.
Fie, you're itching for the kindling touch of your sister, you cocksfeather!
Okay. I'm not fluent in whatever this accent is, probably Irish or something, but yeah.
I'll cut that barrel-licking tongue out of your head.
This is a misunderstanding. I didn't say whatever it is you think I said. We've nigh quarrel.
He plants his feet, something surly and raw flickers through his eyes.
That's where you're wrong.
Okay, so probably he wants them to fight him. Okay, either passionate or diplomatic. I'm going with passionate. Back down, all of you. This is absurd. No one gives us orders, foreigner. They squint at you through red blurry eyes. It sounds suspiciously like you're defending him. Wakurova. Okay. So I'm now fighting 3 angry townsmen. Is this AoE? No, it's not. But the blind thing is, right? Target blinded, foe AoE. Okay. Let's do it. Ooh! Crit for 19 PS. Okay, I just splattered him all over the place. That's an easy fight. As the last of the attackers falls, the elf turns to you. The tension almost gone from his smooth face.
Not quite how I hoped to get to know the neighbors. Thank you for your timely assistance with that awkward situation.
Okay, you're welcome.
Courtesy is a rare
guess.
pleasure in these parts. Though your accent suggests that you are no more local than I.
He straightens his hood, and you note the remains of fraying embroidery on his gloves. His boots are caked with the dirt of many months' travel, but the leatherwork beneath it is sturdy and fine.
Well, I suppose introductions are in order after that little fiasco. Aloth Corvisor, at your service.
Okay, how did you manage to get stuck out here? He laughs uncomfortably. That is something of a long story.
Well, I'm a wizard by training, and an adventurer by necessity. I was born in the Seathwood, part of the mainland of the Adir Empire, and both of my parents served the nobility, which afforded me an education for which I'm grateful. However, there were no open positions in those houses, and so I decided to seek new means in a new land. And how exactly did you come to be here?
I was traveling with a caravan, but we were separated near some ruins.
In Gwithan ruins? Oh, those can be dangerous places during the best of times, which these are not. And half the locals would arrest you for trespassing, and the rest would kill you outright. I'm curious, what exactly did you find there?
Several hooded figures operating a strange machine. Aloth goggles at you silently, apparently assessing your earnestness. Finally, he gives you a clipped, awkward laugh.
You do manage to find yourself in rather interesting predicaments.
Okay. What are you doing in Gilded Vale?
An excellent question. I came looking for fresh air and cheap land. Instead, the magistrate gave me directions to the inn and a story about the local lord's expectant wife. But I take it that's a familiar tale.
Heard of it. I haven't experienced... like I said...
Indeed. In that case,
Also
welcome
settler.
to Gilded Vale. A true refuge from civilization.
Yeah, looks like it. Just how did you manage to cross those 3
I'm
drums?
afraid that was a matter of misunderstandings and mistranslations. It doesn't help that people in these parts remember their war with Adir like it was yesterday.
You did make a rather lewd suggestion regarding one of the aggressors and his own sister. Ah, that. As I tried to tell them, they misheard me. Happens all too easily after a few pins, and the accent doesn't help. I see. For which I am grateful. Let's discuss something else, shall we? You don't exactly look like a settler.
Begging your pardon, but neither do you. Yet, circumstances can find a person in the strangest of places.
Yeah, I should get going.
As should I, given recent events. It's just as well. I've had enough of the watered wine and lumpy beds at the inn. They say even the owner tired of the place. Just up and left one day. It explains quite a lot about the upkeep. Perhaps I could join you. I could use a change of scenery, and I find it's better to travel in numbers.
So he's a wizard. Wizards are good in offensive CC. So do I. Let's go then.
Excellent. I shall follow you.
And there we go. So Alof, the 2nd level wizard, wood elf, Adir Gentry. Gentry? Whatever. Okay. Yes. Leather armor that increases his area of effect. Okay. Gains distant advantage if he's like... that's an elf trait, where he gets an advantage when he's far away. Farther away. And he has some spells. Let's check his spell book. There we go. So here you can see he can have 4 different spells ready, but can cast a number of those in however he likes it. So what's this? Okay, freeze. Okay, that's damage type. Okay, that's purely damage. This is a fan of flames, basically a AOE burn in a cone. Alchemy's dazzling light. Dazed for 15 seconds, which is rather long. And these are Minuletta's minor missiles. Magic missiles from D&D. This is Wizard's double. 20 deflection until damaged. Okay. Good. Interesting. Oh, here's a rapier as well. Okay. So, let's loot these guys. All in. And there we go. Okay, I have a companion now. We want to take a rest anyway in the inn, so let's do that. Okay. The floorboards are sticky with spills that no one has bothered to clean. Sounds like my kind of place to hang out. Some kind of brown slop is congealing in these dishes. It smells burnt. So this seems to be the innkeeper. Oh, greetings and welcome to the Black Hound Inn. The innkeeper bows her head curtly. Please, sit where you like. Would you like a drink or room? We have 2 available at the moment. I'm afraid we can't offer much by way of a good meal today, she sighs, unless you're fond of cold porridge. So, I can get a room. What is this? Oh well, I wouldn't say I can speak from experience, but we do have certain swords coming by looking for work from time to time. If you want to hire someone on, I'd be happy to send them your way. Let me see what I have to work with. Okay. A level 1 adventurer. Can I, like, create a new character or what? That's interesting.
Well met, friend.
Yeah, whatever. Could I see what you have for sale? Aleph opens his mouth but seems to reconsider. Nothing for me. Thanks. Of course, we're running a little short on goods these days, but we ought to have some more soon. Okay, let's sell all the junk. Wait, give me this one. I take back because I can use this one for stuff. Switch to my stash and sell the rest of the crap. There's nothing here. I could use that. Only one of those is needed. The journal I don't need, and these I will keep. There we go. Okay.
Hail, traveler.
Anything else I can do? I want to know more about the Black Hound Inn. Sorry, I didn't read that. Really? Well, let me see. The actual building's been here for years, but the Black Hound's fairly new. We got a lot of new faces in here too. Fewer than we're used to, I'll admit. I used to work the tables, actually, until the old owner up and left. Nobody's sure what happened to him. Even left his poor hound behind. That's the name, see? The Black Hound? Still sitting upstairs, pinning after him. Poor old girl. Place ended up in my hands somehow, she laughs. My very own inn. A lot of hard work involved, but it's been worth it so far. You only serve porridge? Alof looks at you and shakes his head quickly. It isn't by choice, I assure you. We used to serve some of the finest meals in the Direwood. We've had a damnable run of luck, is all. It's been a bad season for the crops, and we're running low on supplies. I sent Tenfrith up north to stock up. Tenfrith's our cook, you see. An artist with a good roast, but it's been days since he was supposed to return, and we haven't seen any sign of him. She sighs again. I've only just taken over from the last owner myself. I don't know what I'll do if he doesn't turn up. Oh, it looks like a quest, so I could try to find him for you. Really? Her face brightens. I'd be grateful to you if you did. He was travelling through the Vale Wood. I just came from there. It's probably nothing. A broken wheel, maybe. But I do worry. That reminds me, I did find this wagon that was broken. Interesting. Okay. Sure, let's take a room then. So I get... Okay. Oh no, I want to save my money. Just take the one that costs nothing. Okay. Your sleep is restless and fevered, assaulted by hisses and whispers, blanketed with a suffocating anxiety. You open your eyes to awaken and find yourself in front of Gilded Vale's gallows tree. The creaking of its ropes growing louder in your mind until the sound is deafening. Continue. Hanging from the tree is an old dwarf woman whose face has shriveled inward, like mouldering fruit. Her head hangs limply to one side as you look at her. She looms larger and larger in your mind until she is mere inches from your face. Okay. Suddenly her head snaps up and her eyes open, and they are empty, and behind them is a vast nothingness that makes your stomach drop. Her mouth slowly parts, and with a gust of rancid air she speaks a word. Watcher. You jolt awake, the foul smell of the dwarf woman's breath still permitting your nostrils. Sweat runs down your face in thick droplets, and your skin is soaked from head to toe. You remember the woman, you remember seeing her decaying face when you spoke with the magistrate. He called her an animancer. Though it fills you with a new, queasy apprehension, you feel a strange compulsion to see this woman once more, if only to confirm she's truly dead. Okay. So much for getting a good night's sleep in. Let's check the inn. You just come into town. Kith like you seem to do alright. Okay. A drunkard. And who are you then? Another fool come to answer Redrick's invitation? Our great lord had my sister run out of town after the buoy was born. Okay, she was the only family I had left. Not sure where she is now. Blazes, I need another drink. Ooh. We have some... What is this yellow, guys? As you near, you feel a vibrant history contained in the essence of this woman's soul. Voices from its past seem to call out to you. Reach out for the soul? Interesting. You see a woman emptying her satchel onto her bed, taking stock of her inventory. Potions, bandages, tinctures, and herbs are scattered throughout her room, haphazardly. She bites her lip, head tilted to the side, considering. She begins to repack, one item after the other. Careful deliberation undercut by shaking hands. Each item has a clearly marked place, but no matter how she repacks it, she isn't satisfied. The shaking worsens as she empties it out once more, one hand held to her mouth. Tears eke from her eyes as she gives up all semblance of order and shoves everything she can in the satchel, grabbing it and running out of the bare house. Straightening her back, she walks to the docks, chin high, eyes hard and red. A gangly young elf offers his condolences, but she can't see him for the ocean ahead of her. She wanders the docks, offering her services as a doctor to any who will listen, anyone heading out on a high tide. Less than an hour later, she watches her childhood disappear in the distance, a tiny speck of an island, and tries not to jump. That was kind of interesting.
Huh?
Is this the same? Okay. See a group of young men standing around a makeshift practice target. This man stands in the middle of them, explaining the construction and use of a bow. He holds it up, pointing out each part as he speaks about it and what it does. He then walks away from the target, telling them to remain where they are, and takes his place about 200 feet away. He carefully lines up his shot, explaining what he's doing as he does, and lets the arrow fly. It hits his target's dead center, much to the surprise and delight of the boys near it. He smiles, walking toward the boys, talking about proper stance and how to most effectively hold a bow. It was not very interesting. A noise comes from the tree line near the practice venue, and he stops, scanning the woods, blue eyes squinting against the sun. Shadow moves, making its way through the forest behind them. He draws an arrow and lines up the shot, carefully tracking the motion of the hidden creature. Losing the arrow, he wastes no time and quickly grabs another. The boys spin, watching the arrow fly into the forest, immediately lost among the trees. There's sudden, explosive movement in the undergrowth as a deer erupts from the tree line, running across the edge of the clearing. The boys laugh, turning to joke with the man about his lousy shot. Interessant. Sorry, that was German. They stop talking, seeing him holding the bow and leading the deer with a knocked arrow. They drop to the ground as he loses this last arrow, which flies true and strikes the deer right behind its shoulder, piercing heart and lungs and dropping it dead almost immediately. The boys stare at the deer for a few seconds and slowly turn to look at the man, newfound respect in their eyes. He smiles again and breathes a quiet sigh of relief. That wasn't as interesting. Oh, it's going up there. Yeah. Okay. So if let's get back to the quest at hand. Find the dwarf woman from the dream. So I've seen this animancer lady hanging from the tree in a dream. So I need to go to her. Which is... I don't know if that makes sense because she's like... dead. Sort of. Rotting away. Kaidara de Beranzi. Okay. Let's talk to her. The squat, distended body of an elderly dwarf woman dangles from a thin, crooked bow that sags at the tuck of her nose. The bloated purple flesh of her neck, worn away in patches, like moth-eaten linen, bulges over the rope that suspends her, and her lifeless head lolls forward, rigidly from one side to the other, when the breeze shifts. Sorry about my reading. You perceive a faint glow around her that casts no light on its surroundings, but there's a tepid warmth to it, and you feel somehow that you could reach out and touch it, not with your hands, but with some aspect of yourself that has no worldly dimension. So I reach out for the woman. You take a deep breath, clearing your mind, focusing on your objective. As you exhale, you feel yourself spreading out toward the hanging woman, perceiving all that lies between you and her with new, unfamiliar awareness. Once you have expanded enough to reach her, there's a sudden jolt to your mind, a ringing, electric surge of images and words and sound. Involuntarily, you shut your eyes and feel yourself being pulled down to some deeper consciousness in a space occupied only by you and the hanging woman, and when you open them again, she's staring at you with eyes clouded in a milky fog. Her body still swaying in a wind you no longer feel from a tree that stands planted in a misty void. The woman gives a slow nod of her head, the rope creaking as she does so, and she smiles at you.
Have you come here for me, dear, or have you gotten lost? Ah, it is both, I think. Yes?
Okay, that is creepy as hell, man. Am I imagining this?
No, I think not. A pity that. It would be simpler. A mercy even. To not have to wander anymore, no? Alas, we are here, you and I, wherever here may be.
Creepy. How are you able to speak to me?
Is that what we're doing? Perhaps it just seems that way. Perhaps it is the easiest way for your mind to make sense of it. I think it is a very good choice.
I need to understand something that happened to me. She nods, a look of pity on her face, as though consoling a child.
The world looks a little different than it used to, is that it? Feels like you're noticing things for the first time that have always been there. You have seen past the shroud. It only takes an instant. Your soul remembers, yes? Remembers how it sees when it leaves the body, like being reminded of a dream you had forgotten. You are a watcher now, and a watcher you will stay.
What's a watcher?
What indeed? Long hours have many animancers spent studying such things. Not I, though. Not I. I'll tell you what I know, though, since fair is fair, and here we are visiting, you and I, and it reminds me of better times. Souls pass on, some say through Audra stones, which are the blood veins of the world. They leave the world for a time and are reborn into it, sometimes more than they were before, but usually less and seldom the same. For all souls there is a time where they do not live, yet have not passed on, and those souls roam the world, same as you or I, either living or lost. But no one sees them because they have forgotten how. A watcher sees, though, knows what to look for. And sometimes they know a person just by looking at them, know where they've been in ages past when their bodies were other bodies. See memories even their owner can't recall. A wonder to behold when all goes well. A wonder!
So I can see the past life of someone's soul? Maybe see, if I get that right, maybe see the intentions of people? Neat. What did you mean when all goes well?
Oh, nothing to be afraid of, I'm sure. It's just much to take in for some. Sometimes there's trouble sleeping or other difficulties.
She smiles at you reassuringly, fanning out a tuft of long whiskers that sprouts from one of her cheeks.
You should see old Merwald. He could tell you much more than I. A watcher just like you. Helped many in his day. Took up in an old keep no one would claim. Not far, not far. Kadnua, beyond the Black Meadow. He will welcome the company.
Okay. So she tells me to visit this guy some place or other. I will check in the journal later. I think I survived a beerwick. Do you know why that would be?
Did you now, dear? My, that would be something, wouldn't it? Could be luck, could certainly be. A storm can be a careless thing. Or maybe it got its hands around your soul but couldn't pick it up. A soul can be heavy if it stayed in one piece through its time. Strong souls, we call them in the trade. Cold, I mean. Called them. Those days are all behind me, no?
Sure looks like it. So you said souls break apart over time.
Oh, yes. Entropy. Rimagan's work. We know little of why or how. We lose pieces of ourselves when we die and pick up pieces of others when we are born again, but less than what we lost. We tried to stop it with the animantic sciences, but with little success. No. A very small few resist Rimergan's influence and stay together through some force of defiance, at least for a time. But they all succumb eventually, I think.
Okay. So at some point the souls will not be reborn.
Me? I'll bore you to tears, though.
Okay, let's get to know her.
And here I thought you'd come to visit me in particular. Caldara de Baranzi, of the Valian Royal Academy of Animantic Sciences. Not the greatest of their number, but I came here all the same because this was where help was needed.
What happened to you? She laughs, a rasping, choked cackle escaping between rows of buttery yellow teeth, causing her body to bob up and down with each spasm. Seeing your blank expression, she catches herself.
Oh, come now. Such a question. As though the answer were plain as a rope tied for strangling. Allow an old dwarf her last bit of cheer. Well, I came where I was needed, didn't I? Offered my services to Lord Radric for a pittance. A humble pittance. I was to examine the Lord's wife, see why the gods have seen fit to poison her womb. Studied her for months, looked high and low for impurities, tested her valence, the permeability of her essence. Do you know what I found?
Tell me.
Nothing at all. A healthy woman, head to toe, blessed with a beautiful soul. Such a sweet woman, too. Meek, but warm-hearted. A few months' time, and the lord of the house demanded answers. For a time, I told him what he wanted to hear. Oh, yes, my lord. She is riddled with imbalances. I must have time to cure her. As the birth drew near, he grew impatient, as lords do. And this is where I've ended up.
What's an animancer?
A student of the soul. Something so basic, yet so poorly understood. But so many breakthroughs have been made in my lifetime. Had been made. Had been. To hear the locals tell it, we're a gang of soul manglers that preys upon the weak-minded. And the worst of us are. But the best of us? The best? Inspirations. Miracle workers. My parents were soul twins. Miserable before they met, empty inside. It was an animancer who helped one find the other. Turned their lives around. You wouldn't believe the stories. Amnesiacs helped to remember their lives. The suicidal brought back from the brink of oblivion. The elderly afforded extra moments to say their goodbyes. How soon we forget when we're afraid. It's a fascinating science. A fascinating time to be alive in a place like Deerwood that does not control the research, no? I loved the Valian republics for many things, but their recent caution will leave them behind, I fear.
Very, very interesting. Okay, so I think this gets me...
Of course, dear.
Okay, only back to the questions I already asked, so farewell it is.
Goodbye, my dear. It was lovely visiting.
Caldara closes her eyes and her head slumps forward over the nose. Your surroundings seem to bleed into your vision from some unknown place of waiting. Aloth looks at you through narrowed eyes. You're alright. You seemed lost just now. Yeah, I'm fine. He folds his arms. That's good to know, but I don't suppose you could tell me what that was all about? Okay, it forces me to tell him, so I'm a watcher. His arched eyebrows... Arched or arched? I say arched. Eyebrows recede into his hood. Well, that is interesting. He gives you a sly grin, and I expect this has something to do with the hooded figures in the runes. In any case, I appreciate your honesty. Since we're traveling together, it's probably wise for us to share these things. Do you know anything about watchers? Only that they are rare and that they seem to have unique insights into certain soul conditions. As you just demonstrated. Yeah, let's continue on. Okay. Let's check. So I have to meet this Meerwald, who is also a watcher in Sayed Nua. Let's check the map. There we go. Okay. Yeah, but the thing is, before I do that, I'm pretty sure, knowing this genre, that all these places here have at least some of them have some side quests. So we will gather the side quests and proceed to do the side quests in the next episode. So thank you for watching, guys, and see you next time. Bye bye.